Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I am Mike with our second in 2 days Scream update. This is a great day. You know, I mean, it's a sad day because, as we know, Radio Silence, it seemed like yesterday was possibly on their way out, which is sad, but Christopher Landon of Freaky and Happy Death Day on his way in, possibly. And today, it has been confirmed from The Hollywood Reporter and Bloody Disgusting, Christopher Landon is to direct Scream 7. He even posted himself here on his Instagram that a picture of Scream mixed with Happy Death Day, and it says, "So proud, so excited, so scared." And he's stabbing that cupcake. I'd like to stab a cupcake with my mouth. In this article, The Hollywood Reporter shed some official light on some other things as well. And by the way, you can check out our video from yesterday. I'll put that at the end of this, going through all this and some more detail as well, my ideas and thoughts on Christopher Landon and whatnot. I'll put that at the end of the video, as well as our Nightmare on Elm Street rant video we just put up will be there as well. Just don't even get me started. Jesus Christ. But they did spread some other official sprinklings on top of this. They said that Radio Silence will be executive producers on it. It says they stepped back to focus on their Universal movie, which is what Bloody Disgusting said. And they said that the duo, as well as a third group member, Chad Villela, will now act as executive producers. So that's interesting, and it makes me wonder about the writing with, you know, Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt, who are not mentioned here as well. But if Radio Silence is going to remain on as executive producers, because as they said, they wanted to do it, they just couldn't do it with the schedule. And a lot of people said, what about Melissa Barrera? Because she's working on the Universal movie with them. And to that I say, it makes a lot of sense, because you don't know how many days an actor's on set for a movie or how many days she's going to be filming. And also, an actor doesn't have to worry about post-editing, marketing in a lot of cases, things like that. For the previous movie, they also don't have to worry about pre-production and all that shit with the upcoming movie. So it's very easy to believe that Melissa Barrera could schedule it, but Radio Silence could not. I've also noticed a lot of people that are bummed out about Radio Silence leaving, and I like Scream 5 and 6, so I am too, but I'm excited also for the future with Christopher Landon. But I've seen a lot of people say, I just wish that they had the chance to finish their trilogy. And to that, I'm wondering, am I missing something? Because I don't think anybody said this was ever going to be a trilogy. I think maybe we're just fresh off the David Gordon Green situation. We all just kind of assumed it was going to be a trilogy. But who's to say that they were ever going to stop at 3 movies with these characters? Who's to say we were ever going to do 3 movies? Well, the box office did. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there was ever actually a trilogy in mind, specifically since they were pretty much directing almost direct from script to screen with what Guy and James were writing, right? So that's really on Guy and James if they had a trilogy in mind. And I'm pretty sure that they've said that they've really tried to keep this esoteric and not, you know, slip into that trap of thinking about the future. So I don't think this was ever supposed to be a trilogy. So I think you can rest easy if you're worried that this will be that way. I don't think this will be the last Scream movie by any means. Fuck no. Besides, it takes a man to do something like that. But speaking of that, who is going to write this movie? A long time ago, you heard the nameless, faceless ones of the internet and Reddit and the scoopers and stuff saying that the script was already being worked on before the writer's strike and all this nonsense and stuff like that. Well, this is proved wrong right here. At least from Hollywood Reporter's aspect, they say also unclear who will be writing Scream 7. James and Guy wrote the scripts for the recent 2 movies. However, Landon is also an established screenwriter, having written or co-written all his directorial efforts. In any event, the script aspect won't come into focus until the writer's strike ends. They don't know who's writing the movie yet. Thereby, the movie has not been started writing on yet, unless they're purposefully omitting it. This is just another case of don't believe everything you hear on the internet. But it's interesting. Who do you want to see write this? Would you like to see Guy and Jamie come back to write this? Would you like to see Christopher Landon write this as well as direct it and really just have his whole vision put to screen? Would you like to see Kevin Williamson come back and work with him and maybe co-write this with them? Comment below, let me know. I think it's interesting. I don't think any of those options are bad. I'm down with all 3 of them. Sources say the actors do not have deals for a new installment, but are expected to return once the dual writer and actor strikes are settled. So obviously that makes total sense. But it does say Ortega's deal will be one to watch, as the actress signed on to the franchise before she was catapulted to the A-list thanks to Netflix's Wednesday. That is very interesting that they would point that out, especially a studio that just had a argument over payments and how much they were going to pay Nev Campbell, the fact that Jenna Ortega may possibly require a lot more money to come back. And again, there's the unease of working with a new director where they were probably really comfortable with radio silence. But it does say that, Melissa Barrera and Mason Gooding are expected to come back. And pretty much everybody is, I guess, but it's going to be interesting to see if they can afford to pay Jenna, especially if we're talking about fuck. But I'm excited, and the more I've thought about it with Christopher Landon, I think it's just a really exciting thing. I'm excited to see it happen. A lot of people are worried he can't pull off the dark horror aspects because his movies skew so comedically. But I really think that is just that has to do with the production, with the script, the movies that you're doing. He's been working under Blumhouse, who loves to keep things light and even PG-13 if possible. So I think it's very easy. And he's seeing this too. He's seeing all these people say, oh, that guy can't do horror. He can only do comedy. Don't think that Christopher Landon's not watching that. And as clearly a huge fan of Scream, I bet he comes fucking hard. That sounded wrong. I bet he comes with the fucking thunder, man. I bet he does. Knowing that, I bet this may be the meanest Scream you see, based on him trying to subvert those expectations. And you can tell he's a huge fan. Just admitting you're scared when you get a project like this is I'd be the same way. I'd be shitting pants. But yeah, that's the latest Scream update. It's so fun to have Scream news to talk about. And even though some of this was just a clarification and officialization of yesterday's news, there was still some extra stuff there, so that was fun. Check out that Nightmare on Elm Street rant video at the end of this, and make sure you click subscribe and the bell to get all the Scream news as it comes. And you can always count on me to come on time with the news, you fucking perverts! Mom and Dad are gonna be so mad at me when they find out I'm in love with my friend Billy. Well, he's got a white shirt, tight little jeans, kinda wanna put my P in his B. He hit me with the phone, I wished it was his dick. You cut me too deep this time. You cut me too deep this time. Woodsboro will never know me and Billy were more than bro. So get it up, leave her alone. He was my Sharon Stone.